is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video for the 2024 season. Hit the like button if you haven't already, comment and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or video drops. Appreciate you coming back, share this out, do all the good stuff. So another Roster Bubble Series video for you guys. And in these types of videos, they take a player that's on the roster bubble. I talk about their background, I talk about their competition, I talk about how they could win a spot on the roster, how they could lose a spot on the roster, and then a projection at the end. So today we're going to talk about Timmy Horne, defensive tackle veteran in the NFL, who the New York Giants signed off the practice squad of the Atlanta Falcons last year. Let's go into his background. 26 years old, 6'4", 323, went to two different colleges. He went to Charlotte and then went over to Kansas State for a season. 2022, undrafted throughout the process, and, well, he hooked on to the Atlanta Falcons for the entire 2022 season. Played in all 17 games, 5 starts, 1 pass deflection, 27 tackles, and a quarterback hit to go along with 2 quarterback pressures. And as far as defensive snap percentage goes, he played 34% of the defensive snaps, which, for an undrafted free agent, it's not bad. You move over to the following year, 2023. He played 3 games with the Falcons, 1 pass deflection, 4 tackles total, and didn't play that much on defense, 28%. He was also on the practice squad, so he was on and off the active roster in terms of being activated. Then the New York Giants decided to pick him up, and they picked him up for 1 game total, and then he went back to the practice squad, or they either released him and then they brought him back for a futures contract. He played 7 snaps total. I believe it was against the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, he really didn't do much. So what is it looking like for him coming into training camp? Well, he's got heavy competition. And what is his background? Does he pass rush better? Does he run stop better? He run stops better, but it's not at an efficient rate. For those of you who listen to PFF, he had a PFF grade probably around the late 40s, early 50s, which isn't great. It shows you're a backup in this league, or even practice squad worthy, and obviously that's where Timmy Horne kind of has been. But he's a better run stopper than he is a pass rusher, and the New York Giants are looking to grab depth and see which guys can fulfill the back end of the defensive line spots, especially when it comes to defending the running game. Let's take a look at the competition. You got Jordan Riley and DJ Davidson, who are draft picks of the regime, so they might have a leg up. Then you got Ryder Anderson, who was an undrafted free agent out of Indiana in 22. I still want to see what he can do. He was injured last year and really didn't get much of a shot. Casey Rogers, undrafted free agent from Oregon. Elijah Chapman, undrafted free agent from SMU. And you got Jordan Phillips, the former Arizona Cardinal and Buffalo Bill, who also is in a different realm than Timmy Horne, but similar player. A little bit better, though, judging off his career. Now, how can Timmy Horne win a spot on the roster? Number one, it's got to be run defense. And obviously health is all a part of it. Health really hasn't been an issue in his NFL career. But run defense. He's probably going to be on the 2-3 squad, and they're going to mix a couple of guys in training camp because you don't really have a set defensive lineman next to Dexter Lawrence, whether it's the defensive end position, another tackle, whatever it may be. You don't have a set 2. Now, a lot of people think it's going to be Jordan Riley, but injury could happen. He could progress, which you really don't want. But I have a feeling that they're going to rotate a couple of different guys in, and Phillips, Davidson, probably Jordan Riley too. So those 3 guys, in my opinion, will get a leg up in terms of playing next to Dexter Lawrence. But not to say that Ryder Anderson, Casey Rogers, Chapman, and Timmy Horne can't. Again, Horne is going to play with the 2s and 3s. If he does well against the guys at his level, offensive line, running backs, this, that, and the third, then he can possibly make a spot on the roster. Run defense is going to be his biggest reason to make or not make the roster. X factor, if you will. And then ability as a pass rusher. Not great as a pass rusher. Obviously, it really hasn't shown his NFL career. It's been more of the plugging the gaps in this, that, and the third. But if he does get some sacks in the preseason, I mean, I'd like to think that's a way he makes the roster, right? He had to make the roster with good performances somehow in 2022 as an undrafted free agent for a decent Falcons defense. So how can he win run defense, health, and ability as a pass rusher? How can he lose injuries and blown away versus the run? If the Giants are gashed versus the run in the preseason, like they have been in certain scenarios over the past few years, and if Timmy Horne is one of the guys on that defensive line, you best call him out and say, hey, this guy is not going to make the roster. And he's clinging to NFL rosters right now. He's trying to cling to this New York Giants football team because he may not come back on the practice squad. They may say, okay, well, Phillips, Davidson, and Riley are guys, and then Ryder Anderson or Elijah Chapman goes on the practice squad. So, in my opinion, his biggest asset is going to be run defense and anything else in between. Either it's forcing a fumble, sacks, that, and the third. So, again, how can he win run defense, health, and ability as pass rusher? How can he lose injuries and gashed versus the run? And we'll really find that out in training camp, but we'll find it out more in the preseason because it's tough to tell in training camp where they do these running plays and sometimes you don't know if it's going to be a big run or not. And then in preseason, when you're actually doing live tackling, that's where you're going to make your bed. But I don't have Timmy Horne making the roster. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just don't see it. I know he played one game last year, but to be fair, it was a different defensive scheme with Wink Martindale. And I feel like there's more talented guys that could plug up these holes on the Giants roster right now than Timmy Horne. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Pre-show coming back. More of these coming your way. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.